Hello there, beautiful people. Welcome back to my channel, and welcome to today's room tour. I have been meaning to film this video since I moved in, but I just kept waiting and waiting for the room to end up becoming what I wanted it to be, and now I feel like the room is in its final form. And plus, I'm moving out in like basically a month, so it's now or never. So I just thought I would give you a few key factors, like where I'm staying, why I'm staying here, that sort of thing, before we get into the room tour, so that you know a bit about my situation. So I currently am a technically, I'm not a first year student anymore. I used to be a first year student. Anyways, let's not go down that road. But I was a first year student at the University of York, and I was studying film and TV production. I lived on campus as a first year student. I lived in Langwith in the shared bathroom, so I lived in one of the little houses. And I'm speaking in past tense as if I'm not currently still living here, but it's for the purpose of the video. I shared the flat with 8 other people, and I shared a bathroom with 3 other people, so it was 4 people to 1 bathroom. I think that's mainly everything that you need to know. I'm going to talk more about living in Langwith and living in shared bathrooms and just accommodation in the University of York as a whole much later in the video after the tour, but for now, enjoy my room tour. So we are outside my room right now. I live on a floor with 3 other people, so there's 4 of us and we share 1 bathroom. So this is my door. And it came with cute little pin boards, so I just put a couple of stickers that really speak to me. One says, "A well-read woman is a dangerous creature," and I stand by that. But enough of the outside. Let's do a room tour. In Langwith, everyone has a room key like this. I don't know the name of these, but this is how you get into your room. Okay, so we'll start with this side of the room. On the door, the room comes with these 2 hooks, and on one of them I just have my bathrobes, and then the other one I have 2 of my like go-to main bags. To the right of the door I have my wardrobe. I'm not going to show you inside. I'm just simply not, because it's a mess. It's like fully a mess. There's a top portion and then there's also a bottom portion. In the bottom portion you can hang things, and there's also a couple of like shelves, and then the top portion is just completely just an empty cavernous space. To the left of the door I have a pin board, and I just have a bunch of postcards that I got when I was in Cape Town. Then we come to the sink area, which when I was actually first like applying for rooms and like seeing that there were rooms on campus that came with sinks inside the room, I was like, what is this tomfoolery? But actually I learned to really appreciate having a sink in my own room, and I'm actually really gonna miss it when I move into my second year house because it's so convenient. So basically I just, I do my brushing my teeth here, I do my skincare here, and it means I don't have to do it in the shared bathroom. So yeah, it's a pretty standard sink. I just have the sink and I have my toiletries on it. Oh, there's a light here as well that turns on, which is nice to use at night when you don't want the overhead lights on. Then we come to the desk area, and this desk is massive. Like, it's very, very big, and I love that about it because it means I can split the desk up into different sections. I've got loads of space on here to work, to do my own personal things, to do my makeup, that sort of thing. There are also several plugs, like so many plugs. Some of these I don't even know what they do. The room is supposed to come with a chair as well as a dustbin. When I moved in, actually my room didn't have a chair, but one of my flatmates brought their own desk chairs, so I just was lent the one that they had in their room. There's actually a lot of space underneath there. I actually keep one of my checked-in suitcases underneath there, and just a bunch of other like miscellaneous things, like extra pots that don't fit in my kitchen or extra blankets, that sort of stuff. So this desk is very, very big. And then on the side of the desk I actually also have 3 drawers, and in these 3 drawers I keep a plethora of things, really. The first drawer I have for like school related stuff, and then the second 2 drawers are like my hair care, my body care, extra toiletries, that sort of fun jazz. It comes with, you have a little light that's there, and it's nice for late night study sessions. Also have a pin board that spans along the entire length of the desk, and so it means you can put up like calendars, stuff like that, because they don't like you putting things up on the wall, which is like valid. So I just have like, a small calendar as well as Bible verses, just stuff that I like to look at and remember when I'm sitting at my desk and fighting for my life writing essays. So now opposite the desk and next to the sink we have my bookshelf, and the reason why I think I have this bookshelf is because, if you haven't been able to tell, my room is actually slanted because I'm on the 2nd floor, so I couldn't have the boxes or like storage above my desk, which is what most uni accoms at the University of York sort of have. So I've got the bookshelf, which I actually do think I prefer because I feel like there's a bit more storage. But anyways, at the very top of this shelf, I have my second checked-in luggage that I keep, because finding places to keep these is not easy. And then below that, I have a shelf dedicated completely to books. That is because if you didn't know, now you know, babes, I'm a book girly at heart. And so this is just my collection of books since coming here. What I love about this shelf, besides the fact that it's full of books, is this little magnet that I got from the Strand bookstore, because it makes it seem like this is my little bookstore. So yeah, then following that, I have my jewelry and my perfume collection and like body mist and sprays. On this one, this is where I sort of get ready in the morning usually, as well as in the shelf below it, because this has my daily toiletries like my micellar water, lotion, that sort of stuff. And then next to that, I have my medicine, which has come in clutch so many times. You need a medicine basket if you're going to uni. And next to it, I have a makeup basket as well. I wish I could display my makeup in a different way, but this is what we have currently. And then I have this like random one that has like bags and umbrellas. And then below that, I keep my cleaning supplies and like my laundry detergent. I keep electronics. And then I also have a snack basket, which is looking a little bit dry, a little bit sad right now. But that's just because I'm leaving in a week. So there's not really a point in me restocking the snacks. But usually she's popping. And then in the last one, I keep a bunch of my shoes. Now we are getting to the main portion of the room, or I guess the second half of the room. So I did purchase a coat rack because the space the space in the wardrobe was not going to be enough for me, because I just brought too many clothes and I kept buying clothes. So you know what, that's not even the point. But just to let you know, a clothes rack will be able to fit in here. I think I got this from B&M when I first moved in, and it was like £4 or something, so it wasn't even that bad, and it's held up the whole year, so that's great. So yeah, I just keep my coats on here, and I also hang my bags on the side because I also have a ridiculous amount of bags. On the bottom, there's also a rack to put shoes on, which I also use because I have too many shoes as well. It doesn't really get into the way of me walking. I feel like there's enough space for me to move around in the room. And then there's this massive pin board. This is the biggest pin board in the room, and I just filled it with a bunch of different photos of family, friends, places. Yeah, I also decorated it. As you can see, the theme for the room was very much, it was just green. That was my theme because that's my favorite color. That's this side of the room. On the bottom, like on the floor, I also have my laundry basket in the corner. It's just an IKEA bag, because why would I pay more to buy an actual laundry bag when I just have a massive IKEA bag? Now we are onto the bed, which is the final portion of this tour. This bed is 3/4, and I just bought a bunch of double bedding for it every single time that I bought any bedding, and it fits perfectly fine. I have 2 pillows. It comes with a mattress protector, but not a mattress topper, so if you wanted to get that, you'd have to bring your own. I ended up buying myself a mattress topper like further down the line, because the bed, I won't lie, it's not that comfy. It's very springy, but otherwise it's a very lovely place, and I think it's very spacious. Okay, so now that we are finished with the room tour, it is time for me to just give you my opinions, my experience about living on campus at the University of York. So first off, I think what's really important for people to know if you are coming to York is that it is a collegiate university system, which means that there are different colleges all across campus, and when you come and join the university, you are put into one of the colleges, and the colleges also align with the accommodations present. So I'm in Langwith College, and I was living in Langwith. I think there are 9 colleges, and one of them might be for postgraduates, so all postgraduates end up in one, but there are so many different colleges that you could end up in as an undergraduate student, and there are so many different factors as to why you would end up in one over another. The University of York is split into 2 campuses. There are some on the other on West campus, and then there are others on East campus, and it's all just, you know, they each have their pros and cons. And so when you're applying for accommodation at the University of York, you have to rank, I think, your top 7 choices, and so that includes, you know, ensuite versus just not ensuite, as well as what colleges it is. And so I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I'm gonna be completely upfront. Langwith was my 5th choice. And when I saw that I was given my 5th choice, I kind of lost it. I kind of freaked out, because it was not where I had envisioned myself living for my first year of uni. and I sort of broke down. I won't lie, I did break down just a bit, but looking back on it now, I have the ability to look at it and say, Nyasha, you were being so dramatic. Like, it was not that deep. Just when you're applying and you're ranking your top spots, not everyone is going to get their first choice, and you know, it's okay. It's not the end of the world. As long as you're going to the university and you have a place to stay, I think that is amazing. So once I found out that I was staying in Langwith, I tried to do as much research as possible, but I felt like there wasn't that much. So I hope that this video helps anyone who might have gotten into Langwith or is thinking about choosing Langwith, because I wish that this sort of video was out there when I was looking. So yeah, let's just talk about all things Langwith now that you sort of get the gist of applying for accommodation at the University of York. Langwith has two different types of accommodation that they offer. The first type is ensuite and the second type is shared bathrooms. Every single room, however, in Langwith is categorized as a band 4 room. At the University of York, all the rooms are sort of split into different bands, and the bands equate to the size of the room. So when you are in Langwith, you do have sort of the larger rooms compared to other bands in different colleges. So there is that, you know, your rooms are going to be quite large. So as you saw, there was a lot of space. Band 4 rooms also come with 3/4 beds, I'm pretty sure, or maybe band 3 and band 4, I'm not too sure, but in the band 4 in Langwith, you're going to get a 3/4 bed. Some people only get single beds, some people get 3/4 beds. That's how it goes. And then you also do end up having a TV in your living and communal area. That is something that I really do appreciate, and I really do think was a great addition to my university experience and my university life, because it meant that there was an actual place that we could all, like me and my flatmates, that is, we could all come and like we could watch Love Island, we could watch I'm a Celebrity, that sort of stuff. So you just kind of get that at-home feeling where everyone can sort of sit around the TV. You can do watch parties. We spent a lot of time in the living room and the kitchen because of the fact that there was a TV, so that's something that I really appreciated. Those are the specs. I can only speak on the shared bathroom Langwith experience because that's where I lived. I have been to other people's flats who have their own bathroom, and all I can say is they share their flats with 11 other people, so there's 12 of them, I'm pretty sure. And in the little houses, the shared bathrooms, you only share with 7, so there's that difference. When it comes to the communal kitchen, that gets cleaned once a week. You do have to do your own sort of cleaning beforehand, as in like move things off of the counter as well as take the trash out so that they can come in and clean the kitchen. So that happens once every week, and there is a sort of strike method, so if you don't clean, then you could get fined if it happens repeatedly, like if it's a repeated offense. I didn't have any issues with this, and I don't actually know anyone who has been fined, even though they were getting strikes, but I do think that they're very strict about that, so be aware of that. And then when it comes to the shared bathrooms, those also get cleaned once a week, I'm pretty sure. Ours was on a Tuesday. They come in, they clean, and they replenish your toilet paper supply, and that's about it. So that's the logistics of everything. Now we're going into also the aesthetics and the life around Langwith College. So one thing that I would note, which I think I was very lucky in getting, was that the different blocks in Langwith all have different colors. And so as you can see, all my pin boards are yellow. There are some colleges, there are some blocks in Langwith College which are blue, purple, and I think the other one is orange. So just keep that in mind. You won't be able to choose which color you get, but I don't know, if you're planning on doing some sort of decoration, just be aware of that. And you only really find out what color your room is going to be the closer you get to the date. But yeah, if that doesn't have any impact on you, that's fine. I'm just really grateful that I got yellow because I feel like it goes really well with green. Next up, we will talk about like what I didn't take part in a lot of different Langwith activities, but throughout the year there are different things like paint and sips, that sort of stuff, activities hosted by the Langwith committee so that people can interact, you know, grow closer together as a college. There's also many different college sports, so they've gotten, I know lots of people who do Langwith netball, but there's basketball, there's football, all that fun jazz. And in the center of Langwith, the college, there's actually a restaurant and a bar called Glass House, and this is also something that I did not realize I would appreciate as much as I did. But it did also mean that when we were, you know, tired, it was a Friday, we didn't really want to go out into the city, but we wanted a drink or wanted a meal, we could go to Glass House. We could, you know, play pool, play darts. Also, Glass House hosts a bunch of different events every single day, weekly. Some of them are like bingo, some of them are karaoke Fridays at Glass House goes so crazy. I'm gonna miss them so much. But yeah, it just means that you're never really going to be bored when you're living on campus. I will say I did spend a lot of my money at Glass House, but that's because it's one of the main eateries on Campus East. Like, you do have places in Piazza as well as the Ron Cook Hub, but I just really enjoyed the stuff that Glass House had to offer, and it was so close to me, so I did end up spending a lot of money there. And they get you with that one. They really do get you with that. Next up is the location. So there are 3 other colleges on Campus East. I didn't even say that. Langwood College is on Campus East, so it's on the more newer campus, I guess you can say. Location wise, I feel like it's probably the best college because we are the closest to the bus stop, which means that you can easily get to the bus stop to get into the city. But then we are also the closest to the Ron Cook Hub as well as the Piazza, which is where a lot of seminars happen for many different courses. Especially the courses and departments that happen on East. And then we are also only a 5-minute walk away from the departments that happen on Campus East. So that's your School of Creative Arts and Technologies, Computer Science, and Law and Sociology. And then lastly, location-wise, again, there is also the York Sports Village, which is a little bit further, like if you go down Constantine Way. So it's I'd say probably like a 15-20 minute walk. Actually, not even 15, probably a 10 to 15 minute walk to get to the sports village, or you can take a bus and it takes like 2 minutes. And they offer a full gym membership. There's a pool there, I think multiple pools actually. There's they do classes like spin classes, fitness classes. There's just a bunch of stuff that you can do there, so there is a lot of stuff that is around Campus East. I'm pretty sure that's all that I think is pretty notable about living in Langwood College and the things that I probably would have liked to know before I moved. If you did not get your first choice for accommodation, I hope you know that it's not the end of the world. Like I said earlier, I know that it can be very heartbreaking, and you may have prepared yourself for one thing and it's disappointing to not get what you really wanted, but that doesn't mean that you're not going to have an amazing time. I have met so many wonderful people living in Langwood and I love them so much, and I wouldn't have met them if I wasn't living here. So I feel like everything happens for a reason, and I think God put me in this place for a reason, and I'm going to be forever grateful that I lived in Langwood in my first year. If however there is, like, if you do move into a college and your flatmates, you really don't gel with them, or there's any sort of reason as to why you are not feeling happy, safe in that environment, there is a way for you to change your room, like move. You can exchange rooms with someone. So like if you know someone who is living in a different college, you can exchange rooms with them, or you can just put out an advert that says that you want to try and move rooms, and the University of York will try and help with that as well. I personally didn't do that because I just took the chance and I was like, let me experience this experience, because uni is all about new experiences. And so yeah, there, just to let you know that there are ways for you to get out of the accommodation that you're in if there are, like, if you can't handle it or anything. I do know several people who moved, who were able to exchange their rooms even before they arrived, but I do also know other people who came, they did their first semester and they could not stand the room that they were in, and they were able to move and find a different one. So do not lose hope. The next thing that I would like to talk about is just my advice for living on campus, living in student halls. My main thing is that it's a whole new experience for everyone involved. And so you will be finding out that people tend to live very differently to the way that you were brought up, and vice versa. And there's just no point in trying to battle everyone on every single little thing they do. So one of my flatmates has always preached this to me, and he says, pick your battles. And that is my advice to you when you live in student halls. Pick your battles, because you cannot be fighting over every single thing. You will grow weary, you will grow tired, and as long as you are safe and your peace is not being disrupted entirely, pick your battles, babe. Pick your battles and move on. But also do try and make an effort to make friends with your flat. But if it doesn't work out, that's also, once again, not the end of the world. You don't have to be best friends with your flatmates, but it is nice if you do come and you are jovial and you are decent, because it means that living with each other for the rest of the year, even if you're not besties or you're not close friends, it can still be amiable, you know? So that's my advice for living on campus. I really did enjoy my experience. There were times where it was difficult and it was hard, but I would not change it for the world. So if you have any questions, if you have any thoughts about language, about university accommodation living, just in general, please just comment them down below. Let's start up a discussion, and I wish you the best of luck if you are applying for accommodation. If you're looking at accommodation, it can be stressful, but just take a deep breath and take things one step at a time. You are in the place that you are supposed to be in, and everything will work out. So I love you guys all so much. This is the end of the video, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.